right back, Charlie.
Morning, folks. Big up everyone across Twitch and YouTube. Smash the like button, get your talking points in. But let's enjoy the chorus. It's lit. They're singing about me.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Come on, Ian. People deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night where you guys are concerned and wherever you lot are placed on God's green earth. Hope everyone's doing well and safe. Hope everyone had a great weekend off the back of a fantastic week last week. Hope where your personal dreams, hopes, goals, ambitions, aspirations, all of those sort of things, you accomplish all of them this week. But, you know, you're not going to get them unless you work hard. So let's start this Monday well and safe and start well as we mean to go on. The good news is it doesn't get any easier really, but you know the hard part's done with Monday, innit? Big up to all the Arsenal fans especially out there. Please make sure you're smashing the like button. As soon as we get 200 likes, we'll start getting into the articles. Gabriel has this every day. He's more or less an Arsenal player. Rafinha, I'm sure we're all keen to know what's going on there. And we're all, for me anyways, eagle-eyed to what happens potentially with Di Maria. He could be going Juventus. You know, depending on what report you read with Ousmane Dembele, he's staying at Barca, he's not. Obviously, De Jong and the money that United would obviously have to give Barcelona could have ramifications on what they do with the market. I don't know how far Rafinha is in terms of being a target for Barcelona. They could be treating Rafinha how we're treating Telemans, in that it seems like he's the last one that we're trying to go for, if anything. And depending on where you read it, you know, reports today saying it's agent-driven, agenda-driven, really. So we'll get into that. Any talking points, questions, etc., don't feel any sort of way. Get them in, people. You lot make this community what it is, man. And it's a pleasure to be here day in, day out, week in, week out with you lot, sharing our love of football together, people. So, yeah, we lot saying, man, come on, Deluded. Been gassed for the stream since the announcement yesterday. Come on, you Gunners. Come on. Appreciative to everyone. Like Clement has said, welcome to the daily Arsenal transfer of DG. Comments, discussion points, and questions needed. 200 likes, and DG starts to talk Arsenal's transfers. Not securing Telemans will come back to haunt us. Also, Barca getting Rafinha with the De Jong money for sure if we don't wrap it up quickly. We need a midfielder, man. These guys never learn. DG, big up DG, smashing it lately. Keep it up, my G. Will do, man. See, come on, Ian. You know, we reached 47,000. I can't lie. I was enjoying my Sunday and somewhat my Saturday, people. I've kind of, you know, you have to take breaks where you can. I'm sorry for not being live yesterday. I didn't even know that, people. If we've hit 47,000 subscribers, stop cutting onions, man. I told you, journey to 50,000, 10,000 on Twitch, where we're just over half the way there. Yet support the thing on Twitch, people. Even if you're not going to be a legend on that YouTube crew, you lot are legends. We're getting there. Can't lie, I think I'll cry at 50,000. It feels like a sense of accomplishment still. You might even get a freestyle. We'll get drunk as well. But yeah, appreciative to all of you lot, man. Very fortunate. I told you, like, again, there's half of the year left, or just under less. Can we get 3,000 more subscribers and just about get that? Can we? We're flirting with it. Who would be a better fit, Gnabry or Telemans? Two different players, really. I think Telemans, you need an 8 and a sort of guy what Gnabry does, really and truly. I don't think you see the best of Gnabry or Rafinha or whoever or Saka, and these guys go to the next level until you address the midfield. At the same time, though, the midfield with Partey, Odegaard, Telemans could be lit. If you've got no players to put the ball in the back of the net, it's going to be an issue. So I don't think it is one. I think we need to get both of them. It's a bit like when we signed Thomas Partey. I think our fans, we was in a bit of a war. No, let's get our man. He can play as an 8. No, I'd rather the combative figure of Partey, because we ain't got that. And neither party, or if you were saying that was wrong, but we should have been looking to bring both in at them times there. So that might come back to haunt us. DG, you were right, boss. Rafinha going to Barca with the money from De Jong. We took too long. We got used again. We'll be in serious problems without Telemans. I don't know if we're right, but until we sign Rafinha, or if we do, one thing I would say is we need backup options. We need to be honest and say we're taking advantage of a situation for a good player that's first choice is Barcelona, and we do need to move fast. There has to be a level of encouragement. Well, there was a level of encouragement to go after Vlahovic, in my opinion. There has to be some level of encouragement for Arsenal to go in for a second bid and host talks. But at the same time, Arsenal could be being used to get Barca to hurry things up and leverage interest again, or Leeds could be doing that to drive up the price to Barca, because allegedly Barca are on this 40 to 50 million euros thing, which is not going to happen. I suspect he goes to Barcelona because I believe Barca will get out of their financial issues, or at least hire some dodgy accountants to make sure that is the thing, people. So we'll have to see how that one develops, man. I mean, De Jong's a good player. We'll just agenda him, but I'm just focused on what Arsenal is doing, bro. Marcel, shout out to you. Come on. You know, you're saying it's 6:35 in America, and you're doing up early morning antics. Appreciate the support, my dude. Turner has been made official. If you don't know already, shout out to Matt Turner. Arsenal have already displayed it and things like that. One love to Matt Turner. Again, I say that 200 likes will get into these things, but you can watch the welcome video, but you can see him officially here. And shout out to him, my boy Haguna, 28 years of age, a year older than me. It's a fantastic step for you. I mean, if you're starting ahead of Ramsdale, I'd have serious question marks, but don't come here on some tourist thing. Go and try and take Ramsdale's spot. Listen, Eddie and Nketiah, even though Jesus is our first choice target, have the intention of Jesus being on the bench. We're here to, we have a nice squad and everyone's a nice guy, but at the same time, we're not here to make friends. We're here to win football matches. Beyond an obvious point, I want competitors. I do think it's too easy for Arsenal to pick shirts. We all know the good players. Saka is not having any competition, as great as he is. Credit to him. Whether you like Xhaka or not, midfield is like Xhaka's going to play every week. You want to get into a scenario where Thomas Partey, when you see the brilliance of Partey in that lone six, he keeps going. With Saliba returning, one of the centre-backs is going to be in trouble. Tomiyasu one day might be in trouble if Ben White plays well and gets shifted over to right back. We're preying on someone that could come in and do a job at left back and fight for Tini. We need options. And it needs to be competitive. If everyone is humble enough to leave their ego at the door, but everyone wants to push to start as they should, we should have a more competitive environment. We should be moving closer to getting rid of the certain mistakes that plagued our season. And I would say for things like that to happen, that would, in my opinion, give me more encouragement to know that when we've scored a goal, we're less likely to concede, and just showing general street smartness and being able to cope with difficult away games, especially, and reacting to setbacks. It's naive to expect for 38 games things to go your way, to be perfect. That's not the Premier League. You could probably ask Jurgen Klopp and Pep and these guys and Tommy Tuchel and the champs. Things didn't go their way, but it's how you see at your worst. And literally last season, it was all or nothing. We didn't have too many draws. It's either we win or lose. We had 13 defeats. We barely came back from behind when we lost games. So that tells you, even though I sit here and say I think there is a bit more fight and resilience, when it truly counts, maybe that's not necessarily reflected. So beyond just new signings, you want to see evident naiveties kind of eradicated. And I think just as much as it's a case of bringing in players, there's a lot that needs to be done on the training ground. Because if signing players was all that was needed, Arsenal United would be back, with the signings that both teams have made. But there's more than that. More than that goes into getting back on track. Guest for Jesus. Arsenal thoughts. Sorry, people, just making a timestamp. So big up you lot. Keep your opinions coming, people. Top form as usual. Appreciative as usual. 93 likes. Again, we're doing what we need to do, but we could be doing better. Sorry, people. Oh well, forget it. Did I pull it on? Did I upload? Did I tell people that I'm doing this on Instagram? I must have, man. You lot are all here, man. Long-awaited Jesus announcement. Excited for him to play next season. So we've got 4 or 5 keepers on the books now. Surely we have to start pushing outgoings. Don't forget Renison and Leno still knocking about. ANF, well, you're right still, but it probably, if you had to bet money, Leno's, whether it was Fulham 1 week and then it was Benfica the week before. He has a World Cup to speak about. You just mentioned 4 keepers. It's bad news for Leno if he's not playing, because you've got Kevin Trapp, who played well and won Europa League for Frankfurt. You're not playing ahead of ter Stegen and Neuer. If you're not playing football, then it's a myth. And I get the angle. Maybe he's going Fulham because he knows them man are going to get peppered. I'm going to have to make bare saves and all these things. So you'd imagine when I look at someone like Leno, you're kind of Arsenal need to move you on anyways, but you should be getting your agent to do your job because you need to go play. I would extend that to Terrera. If you want to stay in Italy, go and get your agent to do the job. Pepe, I know wages is one thing, but you signed a new agent. Get them to do your job. If you want to play football, that's what you need to do. But you're right. We do need to start pushing keepers out. But who are these 4 or 5 keepers? You should imagine Carl Hine, Arthur Okonkwo, one of the 2 goes out on loan and one of them stays to be third choice. I mean, Runnison probably not going to stay in and around the first team. And if he does, there's problems. You're probably going to see him leave on loan or depart permanently. Obviously, Matt Turner and Ramsdale will be, my opinion, it will be Ramsdale, Turner, and probably the young Carl Hine that would done all right at Reading. I think Arthur Okonkwo needs to push for a loan. I think if I'm Carl Hine, I'd push for a loan. He could have, I wouldn't say lone player of the season because I'd give that to Brook Norton, Coffey, Saliba, or Nelson based on the second half of the season. But he was doing all right for Reading before his season ended with injury. And I always say football is like giving crack to a drug addict. You know, first team football to young players, you surely can't go back. It's a drug. You're playing week in, week out. And I would say for both of them, specifically after Okonkwo, I'd say you need to go out for a season or so and play first team football. I don't think either player is ever going to push to be an Arsenal first choice keeper, but who knows? Everyone will lie. And listen, I was sad to see Martinez go, but Martinez was at Arsenal for time, and there wasn't a time really apart from the end where, for me anyways, he looked like you could sit there and say, well, boy, you're going to be the first choice keeper one day. I can't say I knew that really. It's only when lockdown happened and we won the cups and did all those things. I thought, yeah, all right, we're onto something here, really and truly. I was counting on Okonkwo, even forgot about Hine as well. DG, what does a successful loan look like to you? It depends, because obviously you could look at it. It's not a lazy view, but, a loan spell, if you're a young striker, go out and score 20 goals, or a midfielder playing week in, week out and getting the fan optimism. But it depends, because I think a loan is always a lesson. I look at Miguel Aziz. It weren't fireworks at Portsmouth. You weren't playing as much as we hoped, but you learned more than you'd learn at the 23s. As a footballer, you're going to go from, if you start at 20 and you play to your 35, your career is not going to be like that. You're going to have setbacks. You've seen in Saka's career, he's had setbacks already for all the good things. So I would say it all depends. But at base level, obviously, according to the position, playing well, whether you're Brook Norton Coffey, I think people are gassing him a lot and he's not ready right now. That's a positive loan. Daniel Ballard at Millwall and Blackpool, that's a positive loan. Reece Nelson, second half of the season. Saliba, that's a positive loan. But it's all a learning curve. I think Balogun, in half a season, you've learned a lot at Middlesbrough that you wouldn't have learned at the first team. When you're faster than everyone, stronger than everyone, when you do get opportunities where we're playing an inferior cup side, you're not going to develop, bro. These folks on Talkshite talking down Arsenal signings, engagement levels, man. Forget them. When we learn in life to ignore these sort of dickheads, pardon my French, we'll get somewhere. YouTube crew, there's 300 of you locked in. There's 115 likes. So you must really not want me to talk about transfers. So yeah, man, it is where it is in that regard. So yeah, man. I think we're doing Telemans last because no one else is in for him, so we can take our time with it. I hear that Arteta's son, and I don't doubt you, but variables always shift, dynamics always shift. Who's to say, I don't know, ABC United, they like Telemans, but they're going after Joe Bloggs. Joe Bloggs is not leaving his club, so let's go back for Telemans. That's one thing I like about us getting the core business allegedly done early, because now you leave yourself to be, if there is extra money, to be reactive to the market, really and truly. There might be players that you thought weren't available that become available, etc. ESPN are calm. Norton Coffey will surprise people this season. I don't think he'll surprise anyone because he's a lit player. Just let the man develop. He's 18. He's 19 in January. He's played half a season at Lincoln where he's played well, but he hasn't been amazing for all of them. He's a bit like Wan-Bissaka right now. Technically, probably at an age where you're not going to see him improve dramatically technically, but the 5-yard passing and things that go into being a modern day fullback, he's still very much an unpolished diamond. All the potential in the world, but Arsenal fans do this. And not saying you, but if the man was thrown in, let's just say if he was in around the first team and there was an injury to Tomiyasu, he's going to get picked apart Newcastle away, playing against Son and things like that. Not to say Cedric fared any better, but fans that are gassing him, they're going to be the first fans to turn on him. He's not, but you could argue right now for Brook Norton Coffey at right back. Saliba could play ahead of him, even though I don't much believe that. Cedric could go over there and play ahead of him. Ben White could play there ahead of him as well. I did see the Gab Jesus HD cuts things, but apparently it's an old picture. So I don't know really what to believe in that regard, or if there's anything to believe. We'll have to look at that. Ian, right. Cooling off. It's just mind games. I'm still sure that we'll secure Telemans. We just don't want to spend what Leicester want for him. I hear that, but for me, if it doesn't happen, let's find someone else, man. Fabian Ruiz would be that. Still not entirely sold on Telemans. How would you sell me on him versus someone like Fabian Ruiz, DG? Honestly, my guy, I can't. You know what I would say is I think he's a bit like Gabriel Jesus and Odegaard in that they've been on the scene for a while, and at 25 years of age, it's now time now. You've been at Monaco, you've been at Leicester, you've been at Anderlecht. It's now time to be a household name in the Premier League. You know, Gabriel Jesus, you've been at Palmeiras, you've been called up to Brazil. You can't, you're a good squad player for City. It's now time to become that guy in your own right and get close to being that R9 regen, which some people used to label you as when you was a youth man, which I don't believe. Odegaard, been on the scene from 15, 16. I think Telemans, I understand it. I do think his pressing metrics, his defensive metrics are a lot better than a lot of people, including myself, gave him. I'm not going to lie. I still think he has the bozo gene. I do think he gasses out after 60 minutes, but I do think it's a better signing than giving credit. And I do think, like, assuming we sign Rafinha, like him, he would look a lot better in a better side. And I just think with him, he's someone that especially in, it's easy to want the ball when the sun's shining at the Emirates. When it's them games like Newcastle, like Spurs, like Crystal Palace away, when there's every reason to not want to play football, where it's almost like a fighting thing. I think Telemans is on that, but I don't think there's really a way I can sell him to you, really. If I'm completely honest with you. Special breakfast stream for 50,000 subs. Let's see what goes on there, mate. One love for you lot support, man. Barca want Conde, Lewandowski, Bernardo Silva more than Rafinha. Also, Telemans is called not off. Big things are going for true, my brother. I don't like Rafinha links. I think midfielders are needed more. Brazil bias, I'm here for it, but you're right. We do need some midfielders. Shout out the YouTube members. I mean, you lot did not want me to do a Q&A. I asked you for your questions. You didn't support the team. Big up DG. Seems like we're being bipolar with Telemans in terms of buying him going in and out. I don't know what's going on there, man. We just have to speculate what's being said. Where you reckon Saka's going to play on the left and the right-hand side, really? DG Terry from Football Terrace said on his live today, the Telemans deal's basically done. Trying to get all I mean, shout out Terry and the Footy Terrace, and I have no doubt there might be something, but again, unless he's holding a shirt, unless you're a credible journalist and things like that, I don't know anything, man. I can't take Terry's word for true. Martinez's signing is sensible as he is good at defensive mid. This window needs to be different. We may be doing some great deals and it's exciting, but we need to keep going to put ourselves in the best position. Honestly, with all the signings we can potentially get, all we're missing without depth is a right back and a decent backup for Partey. Lokonga still has room to grow, and I'm sure Martinez can fill a gap. DG, what does a successful season look like to you? Arsenal qualifying, well, extremely successful season would be winning every trophy, bar the Premier League that we're available for. You know, the Europa League, the FA Cup, the Carling Cup. I would say for me, what I would define as an absolute minimum successful season, I would say top 4 football. I would say I would love to finish top 4 because we don't do it over a 38 game period. I'd say get to the top 4. I'd say bring the FA Cup home, get to the Europa League final / winning it. So these things there, top 4 minimum and a cup. Keyway said it there, top 4 minimum and a cup. So yeah, B said it right there. Talking about youngsters, wouldn't it be great for Hutchinson to get some game time this season? It would be, but if I'm Amari Hutchinson, I'm pressing to go out on loan. You know, you might get the Europa League games, but I think you're ready to try and play somewhere week in, week out. You got to do the maths. You know, you've got Martinelli, Smith Rowe who can play out wide. You've got, assuming Rafinha or a next winger comes in. You don't know what's happening with Reece Nelson, who, whether he makes it here or not, right now in the pecking order, is ahead of him. You know, you've got Gabriel Jesus who can play out wide, so you can't rule that out. There's a lot of bodies now. He did travel up and down the country, Amari Hutchinson, in the Premier League, and I think he's got a fair crack at making it at this football club. But if I'm Amari Hutchinson, Kiddo, Taylor Hart, you've seen Mika Beref, Tyrese, John Jules, all these guys, Balogun. I can't lie, you know, as much as it's a youngster thing, Miguel Aziz, I think a lot of them should go out on loan. We have to I'd keep Patino at least until January. Brook Norton, Coffee, go and play football, bro. Because again, we can't have it all the way. We are a young squad, and you know the youngster term is being used broadly. We got a young squad, but out the guys that are in the academy, I don't think there's too many opportunities for you. Yeah, you might play when the FA Cup comes around or the League Cup, or you might play a little Dundalk or something in the League Cup. I mean, in the Europa League, but it's not enough. And if I'm Arteta, it's not really a youngster thing. As I said with the example a lot of them traveled in competitions last year and didn't play. Some of you might get opportunities, but we need to fight for top four, and there's money being spent. There's pressure, Arsenal to start the season well. You can't have it all ways. You can't ask Arteta to play a stable lineup, to build relationships on the field, advocate for fluidity and all of them sort of things. And every random Tom, Dick, and Harry is getting games, really. So if I'm these young players, as I keep saying, I'm pushing to go out on loan personally. But I understand Marcelo Flores as well. But there's no rush, and and it's not the end of the world. But it all depends, really. Saliba, it seems like he's going to be at least offered a new deal. Arsenal need to get Rafinha ASAP, as he's wanted by many clubs. I knew we wouldn't get Telemans. It's not done yet. Please update on someone. On just under 50 more likes. We clear that. You get what you want, mate. If we fail to address midfield, I don't see us moving forward. Amen. Amen. Appreciate you, Adom, I believe. Anything less is a massive failure for me. Now, with these signings we're planning on making, we need Champions League football and a trophy. I mean, I hear the trophy talk, but if you get top four, okay, cool. If you go, listen, I'm an Arsenal man. I want to win the FA Cup. I share your opinion. If we're not anything less than the final / winning Europa League is myth. And obviously that's without saying I don't know who is going to drop into the competition. I know Manchester United are going to be in it as well. And evidently next season, there's going to be that inevitable question. Do we focus on Europa League or the Champions League? And I say every year, both. We're not necessarily the team mentally. Well, once it gets to the semi-finals and stuff, we're going to do the Jose Mourinho thing as he showed in the Conference League. And obviously with Man United in the Europa League, man's going to grab this trophy. And in the Premier League, you see when it gets to high pressure environments, right now we crumble, but you've got 38 tries. Literally, everybody plays each other. Everyone plays 38 games. Everyone plays each other twice. Again, do your thing. De Jong to Manchester United could be lit still. FA Cup and Europa League wins. The club may not be top four ready yet, but getting through to the Champions League by winning Europa would at least show an ability to finish off a season. I want us to be competitive. I think we are ready to fight for top four and qualify. We just about missed it. And we missed it because we're doing stupid things. But something needs to happen. Big up DJ is putting out good content. I appreciate that, and I appreciate everybody tuned in. I don't know about that, but it's lovely to hear them sort of words. Just trying to be better than I was yesterday. I think we should have gotten a more prolific striker, but we'll see how it works out. At least we got some players. I feel like it will either be Jesus or Rafinha. I can't see us realistically getting both. I hear you, man. I hear you on that. I don't think you're alone. Lisandro Martinez. Apparently, apart from us putting a bid in, I don't know. A Bozo G in a solid evaluation. Is it mad I want Telemans more than Rafinha? No, I think it's quite seen. Sorry. I ain't feeling Telemans or Rafinha. Why? You're being a Scrooge, man. Hope you had an even better weekend, South London's fans. I had a great one, man. Party. That's why you didn't get a live stream on Sunday, man. Had a lot of coffee to wake me up today, and I'm back. We're back again, people. 175 likes. We're almost getting in. We're ever moving ever closer. Do you think we're recruiting Rafinha as competition for Saka? Well, we should, as well as raising the level of the squad. Pardon me, we should. It's not Saka FC. Saka's done well. He's earned his shirt, but it don't mean you have that forever. Hold on to that really and truly. I know you already talked about this before, but what are your final thoughts on his signing for us? I mean, I'll offer my final thoughts when it's confirmed, but my thoughts are, I like the potential he has to potentially score goals. But again, if I looked at it on a cynical one, we need a goal scorer. We haven't signed a goal scorer. We've got young players that have had, Saka and Smith Rowe specifically, first season with double figures. That's great for them. And you can't say Arteta doesn't improve players. But you're learning to score goals. Martinelli and Odegaard, I think Odegaard got like 7 in the league. Martinelli got 6. Can you get to 10 and 10? Can Eddie Nketiah get a decent goal return? Obviously adjusted to what role he plays, and the obvious. So I think there's potential to score goals, not necessarily the ability to score goals, but I'm happy with Jesus. I just think him, Telemans and Odegaard should be the more senior young players. I think he could do the job as an official number 9. I'd be happy with it. The scope to grow. Arteta knows him, I like the fact he drops deep. He pulls into wide areas. A lot of his goals are scored in the area. So provided he's giving service, we could do some bits and pieces. Like again, I don't know. The one thing I don't know is, I think a fair adjustment to, in fact, a fair adjustment would just be to see with Gabriel Jesus the statistic, how many goals has he got for Manchester City? Because whether he's been a key player or not, that's the facts. How many goals in how many games? But I think a fairer metric. Personally, I don't know where I would find that because I don't have WeScout and things like that. A fairer metric would be how many goals according to starts or per 90 minutes, actual 90 minutes that he's played, has he scored goals? I think that would, maybe not fairer is the best example, but a more accurate description of what he potentially could do up front on his Jays, people. Because just looking at it on my other screen, he's got 95 goals in 236 appearances for City. I know he hasn't exclusively played out wide. 58 goals in 159 in the Premier League. There is something in the player. Last season, he got 13 goals and 12 assists in all comps with 41 appearances. In the Premier League, 8 goals, in 28. Started bagging them when he was linked to Arsenal. He didn't want to be Lacazette, and I swear 3-4 came in one game. Got 9 assists. 3 or 4 came in one game. Arsenal taxi bagged against us. Lukaku scored against us, so we can't really rate that. Saved his best form for the Champions League, where he scored in 50% of the games. He got 4 goals and 1 assist to match in 8. And he does score in important games, and he is an intelligent player. He can play multiple roles. He is aggressive. He does press well. I look at the pressing metrics from what we hear online of him, Rafinha, Telemans. It does give you confidence, really. And when you look at it, most Premier League goals scored exclusively from inside the box, he's got 58. That tells you that's a very service-reliant striker, which, as I said, signing players is half the job. We need the midfield to dictate the tempo, to be able to break down low blocks, to be able to capitalize on the space that Gabriel Jesus. We need to keep seeing third man runs and all these things. Gabriel Jesus isn't going to be blessed with the attacking talent or dominating games as on the front foot as much as he did at City, being at Arsenal. And I'm going to need him to be a leader, really and truly. So you've got that. Also, apparently he has a 66.6 dribbling success rate in the Premier League, the highest among all 26 players with at least 40 goals in the comps since he's made his debut. So there's a lot more than just goals. To be honest, there isn't that much goals, but I do like what Jesus could potentially bring to the table. But at the same time, even Haaland's going to sign for City. They're not necessarily going to just rely on him to get goals. I need everyone to, whether Rafinha signs, whether Eddie Nketiah keeps doing his job, whether midfielders, I think Odegaard needs to chip in a bit more because he's got better statistics than I gave him credit for, which is needed. Apparently, when you look at Gabriel Jesus's season by numbers in 2016-17, in fact, bro, I'm just going to put this on screen because this looks a bit struggling to read this, if I'm completely honest with you lot, people. So, yeah, you look at this, don't make sense. Does that mean he's played 10? The way the layout is hurting my eyes, people, if I'm completely honest with you. This is it's actually hurting my eyes, but nonetheless, I'm sure you lot could see it. I'm just getting some more thingies up for you. Let's get to 200 likes, people. Again, sorry, people. There is some interesting things we could look at in relation to Jesus. That was big up you lot for tuning in, but that was a very good question, very thought-provoking one, man. This is why I like you lot. Goals. Gabriel has just minutes to goals in the Premier League in 2016-17, 93. 2017-18, 129. Then the following year it went to 146. Then it went to 145. Then it went to 229. Then it's at 235. So it just tells you that as the season's gone on, City have team have got better, and it's not really the best of metrics, really. We could do a lot worse. This is a club that praised strikers for pressing well and working hard last year. So we might be in the right scenario, really. So that doesn't really look too good. But again, we need to find these rough diamonds. If you can get a tune out of him, Telemans and Odegaard, then you make them decent players. And there's also an element of resale value. When you look at Gabriel Jesus minute/non-penalty goal involvements, it's heavily screwed by that first season. 16-17, and I'm not going to keep reading out the season. We're just going up from this point. 65 minutes, then it went to 104, then 113, then 97, then 160, then 125 people. And when you look at Gabriel Jesus by season in the Premier League, he played 10 in 16-17, I believe. And he got 7 goals and 4 assists. The next season, I think he played 29. He got 13 goals and 3 assists. I think the layout's horrible. Forgive me if I'm not making sense. 29 appearances in 18-19, 7 goals and 3 assists. 19-20, 14 goals and 7 assists in 34. 20-21, 9 goals and 4 assists. And last season, 8 goals and 8 assists in 28. I think that I might have butchered that completely, people. That was quite horrible for me, really and truly. Can we move towards 300 likes? A promise is a promise, people. Let's get into some transfer speculation and all of these sort of things. But just before that, let's make a timestamp as well. Keep the opinions coming. In fact, a couple more questions before we do that. UDG, if we sign all of our targets, I think you mean we're saying, will this be the best ever transfer window ever? If not, it probably would be off recent years. Really come a long way from that Bandulu January period of Mertesacker, Benayoun and that. I mean, it's obvious why he signed for Arsenal. There's every reason to pick us over Spurs, but, Spurs, Juventus, Madrid, half the teams he's linked with, it's going to be the same thing you had at City, where you're just going to be a great player in the team. You're not going to start all the time. If Eddie and all these other players do well and Jesus' form is iffy, why not? It might not be that, but the fact that he's worked with Arteta, the London aspect, the fact that you could be a leader amongst young men, and crucially, you've kind of got free reign at that number 9 spot, despite Eddie Nketiah's new deal. It makes sense, especially going into a World Cup year. I can't do the same, my guy Jay, because I could only go on what was available on Twitter. I mean, I could if you gave me some time, but yeah, man, the layout was terrible. Stop spamming my dude, please. My captain for next season is Tierney, but I can't see it. I mean, if Jesus ain't getting 15, 20 goals in the league, then we can forget about all of it, and it is what it is, man. It's crazy, man. Hopefully he can get assists, man. 500 plus people locked in. It's amazing, man. His off the ball movement and pressing is elite, but I need to see numbers from you said it there, innit? Like the pressing, all that stuff is great, and we need that anyways, especially in the modern game. And it's catch 22, because in Jesus' case, I don't think you can win, because I think there's obviously Lukaku weren't scoring goals at Chelsea, but best case scenario, he would have been a Don that's scoring goals, and then Chelsea fans or footballing would have probably been talking about his lack of general play and all of these things. At the same time, you could do what Jesus does, in that you're a good player for the squad, all the metrics and that, but you don't bring enough goals. And I think generally that other statistics are great. You've got a good foundation. You tie in not just goals with what Arteta wants, but goals win games, goals win trophies, goals make the difference. And the problem is we don't score enough goals. And the guys that are learning to score goals, if they don't score or have a good game, we was in trouble. So it needs to be addressed, really. So you're right. Still keep the opinions coming, but I promise, people. We hit 200. Let's get into the like. Let's get into the like. Smash the like button. Don't forget YouTube and Twitch ones. 4:30. We're playing Football Manager. Let's get into the transfer news, people. Without further ado, keep your opinions coming. I'll get them back in. I'll circle back on